Hi guys, Neil at Italia Autos here. Welcome back on an early Monday morning. I am here with the 145, about to strip all the stuff out the engine bay and then start prepping for rust treatment. So, what I've got to do on this is strip out everything from the chassis legs, so like the water bottle, the coolant bottle, the top engine mount. Got to take the suspension out as well, strut bar off. I'm probably going to have to remove the ABS pump. Don't really want to do that because they are a nightmare to get off, especially with all the brake pipes. Move all the wiring loom out of the way, take the airbox off. I'm probably going to remove these headlight support units. They should come off relatively easily because there doesn't appear to be much rust there. And then it's get the wire wheel on the underneath and all the rust and start to get rid of it all. I have then got to replace these bad boys down there. So I've got a busy day ahead. I've also been busy prepping some rusty parts. This has all been sandblasted, if you remember how crusty that was. There's just a little bit of crust still left there, but that's nothing to worry about. It's all been rust treated. This is now acid etch primer, so I'm going to give this a few more hours to dry. Then I can put a nice glossy black coat on it with a nice big thick coat of lacquer. This is a mental note for myself. I'm putting masking tape over this because I know it's not a used connector. That's the connector for the headlight wash on the cloverleaf version. Right, everything's now off the front end, all the wiring looms out the way, all the clips have been removed, the wires and the pipework down the back are all loose so they can be moved to one side. ABS pump has been removed and all the brake pipes can all be moved to one side. I am just letting the brake fluid drip into a bucket at the moment. So yeah, we're almost ready to start grinding it back and seeing what we're left with. Well, that's the worst bit down there, and at least it's not holed. It's very corroded, but it still feels very solid and no holes have come there, so we should be able to get away with no welding in the engine bay at least. So let's crack on with the rest of it. So I have been a very busy boy yesterday. It is now the following day, and I'm now at the point where I can almost get the car primed. I've got all the chassis legs prepped as far back as I can go. I've tucked all the engine loom into the centre of the bulkhead so everything can be kept out of the way. Still got a little bit of prep work to do, a little tidying up with the masking and things like that, and then we should be ready to slap some primer on it. So it's now Sunday late morning. I've been working all weekend on the 145, getting all the engine bay in order, ready to put the engine back in. So let's have a little look around it and I'll show you what I've been up to. Let's start with the engine. Other than a cam belt, water pump and the alternator and starter motor have been refurbished. That is pretty much it for the engine. The engine cover has had to be sent away to be welded in a local company I use. because somebody over the years had decided to break it and then silicone it back together. So as I was blasting that, it all came apart. So that should all be done like new once I get it back, and I'll be refurbishing it. I have refurbished this front part of the engine cover. I've cleaned a lot of the parts up. Subframe has all been done to be like new. Radiator's all been cleaned up. I've cleaned the fan housing up, but it could do with doing again. It's a bit dirty on top still. I've also been busy refurbishing a lot of parts, but they are stored out the way so they don't get damaged. Got a brand new radiator support. Refurbished that, but I've trod on it, so I may have to clean that up again. Engine bay is all looking clean and tidy. So it's a little bit dusty from all the work that's been going on during the week. Tidied up all the wiring loom. I've put all the wiring loom back in place. I've refurbished the top mounts. So I've refurbished the engine mount. I've refurbished all the bolts. I've cleaned all the wiring loom up, so it's all looking nice and clean now. Cleaned all the air filter up. I have got to take these nuts out again and paint them because I forgot to do it. They are just bare metal nuts, so we don't want to leave them like that. So pretty much all that's left to be done now is to get the engine bolted in. So we're going to get that done now and get it hanging on its two engine mounts. Supported the engine and it's as level as it's going to go, so hopefully we can just pop it straight in, offer it up to the car, and then get it all bolted in. First job I'm going to do is plug in the power steering hose, because if you leave that while the engine's up top, it's very difficult to get back in. So, engine is back in now. Leave me for a few hours to button everything back up, and when you rejoin me, hopefully everything will be back in the engine bay. Right guys, we're back. It's a few days later. I've managed to put everything back together. Last job for me to do is to put some coolant in it, and then we can give it its first start, and hopefully it runs again okay. There's no reason why it shouldn't do, because it's only had a cam belt put on it. The only other worry is sort of the accelerator cable, but as it's a cable, they are a little bit of a pain sometimes for the idle once you restart them up, once you've reinstalled everything. I do still need to clean up a few bits on the engine bay, and I've also got to give the full car a full good wash and polish. I did speak to the customer about refurbishing the rest of the engine or anything else he wanted doing, but he just wanted the rocker cover doing, so that's why nothing else has been touched other than the engine bay itself. And I think pretty much every nut, screw and bolt has either been replaced or cleaned up. So now I think we are ready to go. Check the oil level still. Spot on. Right, fingers crossed. pipe off. And for the life of me, I can't see where it's got to go. Right, I just left that little vacuum pipe off there, that one right there. So it's all plugged in now, so we do need to sort the wiring out there and there. I've not put those back in yet either. But at least we know it runs. Let's just start it up again. No warning lights by the airbag, so that's good. Let that get up to temperature now, and we are ready for a little test drive just to make sure all the nuts and bolts are tight. It's now about 5 minutes later. The car's warming up nicely. The little tick that we had from the top end was just a stick-in hydraulic lifter, and that is nice and quiet now. So we're going to get it outside now, give it a wash, and on to the next stage, which is the bodywork. Well, these old cars do like to try us. After having quite a successful startup, the power steering pump has decided to fail. So after having the engine out the car, checking the power steering pump and everything else there, and it was all okay. Put it back together, got it running, and the pump started to fail. So I'm just in the process of fitting another one, which is a great task because I've removed the alternator just to get the power steering pump out. You can do it from the top, but I thought, as everything's freshly painted there, that I'd do it from the bottom so I don't scratch any of the freshly painted paintwork. While I'm waiting for that little touch-up to dry, I've been polishing the car. I've started with the roof, and as you can see there, the right-hand side of the bonnet has had its first pass of a good thick compound, and the left side hasn't. So let's crack on finishing the roof. So guys, it's been a good few months in the making, but I'm finally here. I have finished the 145. It's taken, what, 4 months? So it's taken quite a bit of time, but there was one heck of a lot of work to do. So let's have a walk over the car now, and you can see the completed car. So there we go guys, one project, 145, totally finished. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you in the next video.